Shalom, family. Glory be to God and blessed be the Lamb. I really don't know where to start tonight. There's so much shit going on. Preliminary matter. TikTok is a starting of, what's the word that you guys use? Shadow ban some of my videos. But you guys have followed me, and I know you are. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I don't fall for the numbers because I know that you're there. Secondly, to the non-black people who love God, love Jesus, and know me and have followed me, you know me by now. You know that you have to have a thick skin, a thick skin. By now, you should have separated your yourself at least spiritually and emotionally from your respective races, irrespective of what they are. There are good and evil in every race. Some of them are within our own households. Some of them can be co-workers, but it is what it is. You have to separate. And then the words out of my mouth won't be so offensive when you hear me use terms like black, Hispanic, white. I can only imagine how that feels if you're Hispanic or white or Asian. I understand. But I would ask you this. What would you have me do? What would you have me do? I don't know their names, so racial suggestion is meant as a descriptor, not in terms of racism. No, I'm only interested in good versus evil. I could give a rat's ass less about your race or your position in life or your place in the social structure. The point I'm trying to make is I don't give a damn who you are, where you at. If you fucking up, you might have to deal with me. And I'm not going to back down based on your race or your gender or your creed or your sexual orientation or anything else. Expect a fight. Expect a fight. I truly, if you know me, I am no respecter of anything of man's hands. Now, with that being said, let's get on to what I really want to talk about today. Today I witnessed a video of 13 men. Hold on, back up a minute. 13 beta males assault and murder a handcuffed, hog-tied man. 13 men and a nurse. And the nurse is standing there laughing, observing as they are beating the living hell out of him. He died. After he was dead, they went to removing his clothes. They removed the clothes because they understand that on his clothing is a lot of evidence. And then he goes to the hospital where he is pronounced dead. But the truth of the matter is they beat him to death. Now, this is a year of names. This is a year of names, and we don't back down from using people's names. They have to understand it is war. It's war on all fronts at this point. What did I say at the beginning of this? 5 years ago. War is fought on 5 levels: spiritual, psychological, emotional, and physical, and sociological. Okay? That's 5 different levels of war. We hitting them on all 8 cylinders. We have assaulted all 5. And I also said if you win three of those 5, the 4th is yours automatically. It don't matter the order, and the rest of them will surrender. Now, with that being said, who are these men? Let's get straight to the point. 13 white men paid by the state executed a man in the most brutal manner that only I can admire, if they were evil. Okay, I could deliver the exact type of beating death upon them, but it's because they're evil. Now, I don't know how you get in your mind that it's okay to even assault someone that's handcuffed, can't offer resistance, hogtied, and is surrounded by at least 1,000 pounds of man. Yet there they are, punching them in the face, kicking them in the face. You name it, they were doing it. I was looking at the faces of them. People, these are demons. These are demons. Real men don't act like that. We don't even have it in us to walk up and start to beating a man that's already tied up and defenseless. Okay? Now, Letitia James, the New York prosecutor, African American woman that everybody really talks about like a dog. Okay? So I offer her no solace here either. She won't be finding solace here. Number one, she sit on it. Number two, when she did release it, it was almost 2 weeks later, and then she's on a TV talking about how her heart fails and why this has to be done. Why I was forced to release it. So here's a woman. Here's a woman that just witnessed murder. Now, if you or I had did this, we'd already be in jail. 2 weeks later, they're still walking their asses around. They still walking around. Now, what this leads to is the further erosion of the trust between the citizens and the people, between officers of any ilk and black people, 40 million strong. So, as of now, they're starting to create organizations to deal with the violent police officers. These are private organizations in which the government will have no control over. May I say, let the hunt begin. So this is how this is going to go. You have to understand, this is America. This country was founded in blood, lots of blood. And this is the last place that you want to bring your ass here as if you are anything above that. Blood is blood. Blood is blood. And you came to the wrong place looking for battle. If you're looking for war, war will find you. You don't have to summon it. It will find you. So with that being said, what am I to think about these 13 men? What do you think about these 13 men? See, I have to say white because I must say black. It would make no sense for me to say a black man was beat to death without saying who the culprits are. So it was 13 white men and a white nurse who sit there and watched it happen. Now, quite honestly, they're not men at all. Those are demons. Every last one of them had that look in their eye. They're demons. Okay? Now, what shall we do about this? See, you have to understand, this is a fight between good and evil. Evil hides in a side of bodies. Evil cannot operate without human hands, just as spirits can cross over without a human body. They're totally useless. They're disembodied spirits if they don't have a body. And they just kind of float their ass around the nether sphere harmlessly. The best they can do is try to enter you or enter something. It doesn't even have to be human. I've known them to possess dogs, goats, and even chickens. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, What do you do about this? First, you call a spade a spade. Let me say this: there's no way you can engage in evil decade after decade, century after century, without the devil taking notice. Of okay, the devil takes notice, and you will become selected by the devil. I guess what I'm trying to say, slavery acted as a two-edged sword. One edge was against black people, but the other edge of the master class is driven them mad. It's driven them mad. Okay? Understand, it has driven them mad. Take a pause and think about that. Slavery was a double-edged sword. It drove them further and further into a wickedness or an evil that they cannot escape. So when I say separate, it is with that in mind. I know that it will never stop and they can't overcome their own demons, and black people will bear the brunt of their what word I want to use? Their inability to conquer their own demons. Okay? That is why you see them letting each other go over and over and over, because they understand this. It's become cultural. For them, it has become cultural to be hateful, cultural to be sinful, cultural to be wicked. It's the only way you can maintain the capitalistic system that they have. You have to be wicked. There is no other way. There is no other way. This has been like this for a very long time. I guess the point is that when you do wickedness, then wicked spirits find you. And then bad things happen because the spirits have also recognized spirit. You have a kindred spirit, you have a monitoring spirit, and they're all there. Okay? This is a fact. You walk amongst demons as I speak. As I speak. They are cowardly, but they're still here. They are quite cowardly. They desire nothing but the flesh. Whatever makes the flesh feel good. Sex, money, food, and mostly shiny stuff. Nice house, nice car. But beyond the flesh, they are nothing. They are absolutely nothing. In the spirit world, it's the same way. And it's not even a spirit world, it's a place that they've carved out with the devil for them to hide. But death knows where they are. This is why demons and their spirits still fear the death angel. When he walk in, oh, trust me, your house is going to be clean. Because everything else is going to leave. They're not going to fool him into thinking that they're not dead. They are not going to fool him. He's going to know it as soon as he see it, and he's going to deal with him. Speaking of the death angel, he's going to deal with them. This is why they flee. Death is not their friend. They fear death much more than the living do. They fear it. Big time fear it. They will do anything possible to finally hit show and be judged. So you should expect them to do anything. Absolutely anything. So how deep is the spirituality? Number one, this is a country run by cliques. This country is run by organizations. All of these organizations are filled with nothing but devil worshippers, or the worshippers of other gods, or either fallen gods. Why do you think that is? And they hate the name Jesus, which ain't even a real name, but they hate it all the same. They're all confused. Okay? They hate the name of Jesus. And they hate lots of things. Now, let's go back to Obama. This is why you must always start the fight as soon as you see it. How many of us said that Barack would be a problem? All of the black men did. It was the black woman who got him into office. And what did he do? Everything he did was anti-black. Now, who is he really? A straight up homosexual. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but he did not tell anyone. See, he did not run on that. He ran on and won on I'm a black man, which he's not even a black man. Since when, tell me, when did white women start having black babies? When did white women start having black babies? The short answer is they don't. But we want what we want. We want what we want. Black people wanted a black president, but who did he help the most? You may as well have called him this country's first Hispanic president, because he did absolutely nothing for black people for 8 years. And look at the first 4 years. The black community was saying, well, man, he has to run for an election again. He can't really do nothing right now, as if they understand politics. They speak without knowledge. So who did he help the most? His tribe, LGBTQ agenda, and the migratory agenda, because he too is some form of immigrant. Are you getting it now? Are you getting it? And yet we still get upset if we say anything about Obama, as if he's black. Obama called himself giving black men a lecture. Okay? He tried to reprimand us and to tell us that we should vote for Miss Harris. But why? She comes from the same line he does, not in terms of race, okay, but by terms of immigration. Now, tonight I'm going to be a little bit all over the map, because I want you to understand the enemies list, which is long. They didn't become enemies overnight. They worked hard to become enemies. Hard. Okay? So, there is no reason we should act like it isn't there. It's there. And by the way, when it comes to this type of sociological thing, I want to ask you a question. Are you black first? Or are you whatever you think you are on the outside of being black first? Because that has become a real problem. A real problem. Okay? And this is a fact. You know, so if you can be black first, then you should be out of the black race. I don't mean to be mean, but if you can ID yourself, your id is that of anything else, then you're simply not black. Black is an experience. Black is a history. It's more than a skin tone. Black is 5,000 years, it's thousands of years old. Thousands of years old. So that's how things are. You hear me speak all the time about we must separate. We must separate from them. It's not that I'm being mean. I'm not being mean, but the survival of the race comes first. They want to think like individuals on the outside of the race. And that what that ends up doing is harming the whole race. Because they form allies on the outside of the race without no knowledge. They don't care without any knowledge of how these people are, or their history, or anything else. And by that, they endanger everyone else. But where was all this learned? Where did it come from? Well, let's go back to the Bible a little bit. Just a little bit. This is not the first time that we've seen this. It was this very same Negro that was the cause of the Hebrew race being thrown into slavery. Everything that God say don't do, they do it. You name it. If God said it's wicked and evil, they engage on it. I mean, they engage in it daily. Not just engage in it, they have taken out a sworn oath to engage in it. Again, that they are enemies of God. And if they are enemies of God, they are enemies of you. As simple as that. As simple as that. Now, back to these 13 guys who beat, kicked, stomped, choked, shoved a towel in his mouth. What's wrong with these sick people? What's wrong with them? 13 men and not one had the temerity to say, that's enough. We fucking up. I'm not taking any part in this. Out of 13 men, you know why that is, right? Because all 13 men was possessed by the same fucking spirit. That's why. The same thing with the nurse. This is why I say white people as a collective should be nowhere around black people. Quite honestly, they should be nowhere around anybody because of the proclivity that they have to engage in wickedness. Period. It's cultural. It is cultural. But they're not the only race. Look at the Israelis. Look at the Israelis. They have convinced themselves that it's okay to kill women and children. And this anti-God ass administration bankrolls it. But now as soon as somebody blows this country up in retaliation, they are the terrorists. They the terrorists now. What are they right now as we watching in real time, American USA bombs blowing off limbs of babies on fire, okay? Women running around ablaze. They are to tell them to move into some quadrant of the city. And as soon as they're there, they bomb them there. I just seen an Israeli today saying there's no starvation in Gaza, while at the same time looking at a video of starving Gazans. Who even interviews this nut job? They think that all we have to do is keep saying the same thing over and over. Who's going to do something about it? Well, bitch, I am. See, we want you dead as a nation. Dead. God wants you dead too. I'm talking about the Elohim and the Creator. Israel is the synagogue of Satan, as mentioned in the book of Revelation. Everything they do is ungodly. And yet they scream that they Jewish and that they're God. You don't have a God. You don't have a Messiah, as he would have showed up by now. But the real Messiah has showed up, and he ain't got shit to do with you. Now, what you need to locate is the Antichrist. That's what we're hoping that you present to us, is the Antichrist. And I'm starting to think that he won't be coming in the nearest decade. Because he's afraid. He knows that kick off Armageddon and the fucking apocalypse. And there will be millions of gallons of blood spilt. And then he loses. So these sock puppets, which is what they basically are, the power that be got their hand so far up their ass that their head is on a swivel. Okay? This is what I'm saying. The powers that be have their hands so far up these people's ass that their head is on a swivel. Okay? That's what it is. And they will never do the right thing. Now, what do they have in common with the white people here? Historically, murder, genocide, rape, land grabbing. Now, look at the Israeli. Look at the Israeli engaged in the same thing. As soon as he got there, he started killing people. As soon as he got in the Middle East, his first act was killing people, throwing them out their house, which he's under blood libel for man claiming to be a Jew when he knows he's not. He knows this. He trust me. They know that they are not Jews. They know that they have no blood tie to the land. They also know who the real Jews are. Which brings me to Chuck Schumer. He's a Jew too, but he knows he's no Jew. Okay, all of them change their names to sound Jewish when they're not. And it ain't even Jewish, it ain't even Hebrew, it ain't even close. It's more like Yiddish or some strange ass language. However, all of them did this. And these Israelis, because I'm going to stop calling them Jews, because they're not Jews, and that just gives them credibility. They're not Jews. They are Eastern European, Khazarian, okay, who's been kicked out of 109 countries. Why do you think that is? 109 countries have rounded their asses up and thrown them out. Thrown them out. Now, if you listen to the Jew, it's because I'm Jewish. As if I woke up this morning hating Jews. It's not, don't listen. It's because of their actions, how they act on the inside of a country that is not theirs. That's what gets them kicked out. Which brings me to Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, the book or the history of the books are not done with him yet. History is not done with Adolf Hitler. It's going to turn out he was trying to save the planet, save the world. We should have left him alone. Because Adolf Hitler knew exactly who they were. Let me say this again. Adolf Hitler knew exactly who they were. He called them bastards. And he didn't wake up that morning hating them. No. He sent his historians, his scientists, archaeologists out to investigate and to discover who these people were. And they brought him back and they brought him back in a documentary and sit him down and walked him through it. And after he watched it, he said, those bastards. That's when he started rounding their ass up and started killing them. Okay? His intent was to kill every last one of them. But why? What is worthy of death if that is not? If that is not. But what actually put the Jew, I said I wasn't going to say that word anymore, the Israeli on Adolf's radar? Well, in the middle of World War II, they're fighting a war. The Jewish population within Germany started acting straight up against Germany. Okay? They would shut down the factories, mess with the banking, all in an effort to weaken the Third Reich and to handicap Germany in its war against NATO. So what should have happened? Well, what should have happened did happen. He rounded their asses up and tried to kill every last one of them. Now, I say that to say this. We are getting close to the same thing or something similar happening here. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. This is America. You don't tell us what to do, what to say, what to think, or anything else. Which brings me back to Chuck Schumer, Democratic congressman from, I think, New York. I could be wrong about that. Okay? The Jewish Democratic representative. This is why he tried to pass these laws to basically slow this boat down. But it won't work. Chuck, you don't mind me calling me Chuck, dude. Americans, which you are not, if you have dual citizenship with Israel, you are an Israeli. An Israeli. Your loyalty is to Israel, not America. So I'm not going to respect your dumb ass at all. You can fool you may fool the population at large, but sooner or later, the work of your hands catch up with you. Now, the Jews are insidious. Insidious. Ain't no way out of that. They are insidious. They feel like, in fact, it's part of their religion to be insidious. To them, there's nothing wrong with lying to you, infiltrating you, manipulating you, until they have basically taken over every freaking position of power. As I speak in this country, every major position of power is occupied by someone Jewish. How does that happen in America? Are they that good? No, they're insidious. And this is how they bring themselves in. Immediately, they are starting to try to occupy the seats of power. Okay? This is their modus operandi. Well, at least it is in the United States. This is their modus operandi. If I went down the list of Jews that hold high-level positions, making decisions on all our life, all the while being a citizen of a whole other country. So why should they be making decisions on anyone's life? Period. They're not even citizens. You can't be citizens of both countries. It can't be done. The only way that it can be done is on paper. Listen, the Bible says, "And a servant honor two masters." And then God says, no, he will always favor one over the other. He will not have loyalty to them both because it's impossible. It's humanly impossible. It's psychologically impossible. It just is. But rather than a sadist, for some strange reason, this people have you afraid to say anything about them. Anything. And in the meantime, in your silence, they are taking over everything to the point that they can use your children and your tax money to go and bomb innocent babies. Think about that. That's power. This is power. Not of the Senate, no, not of Congress. They both been bought by AIPAC. And AIPAC openly says it. Openly say it. You haven't hunted them down yet. You will. You will. It's only a matter of time. I would tell the synagogue worshipers, be careful. Because just as they organizing against the rich, which a lot of rich is you, who don't never really work, he's wind up rich. Who knows how he does it? Well, we know how. They'll start rounding you up sooner or later. And I'm going to tell you how it's going to start. It's going to start with a list of every position of power that you occupy in the Biden administration, replete with your names and your positions and your salaries. It'll start right there. And you will scream foul, and you will scream anti-Semite, but you're not Semitic, white people. Understand this here. That whole game of an anti-Semite is holding less and less water every day as more and more people learn that you're nothing but a lying-ass Khazarian, a lying-ass person from Eastern Europe who have lied to their children, brainwash their kids over and over and over, generationally, till their kids honestly think that they're Jews. So imagine what's happening now as their children go to foreign lands and they take blood tests looking for their origins. They're learning they have no tie at all to that land. None. Yet they're there, killing people as if it's theirs. Which brings me to my final point. Israeli. Listen, Israeli. You are killing in our name. Okay? You have stolen land in our name. You have taken trillions of dollars in our name, which I think is pretty much fraud. It's fraud. And the whole world knows it is fraud. The whole world knows exactly who you are by now. And while that's happening, country after country after country is emptying or opening their archaeological vaults. And guess what they're bringing out? Black Jesus, Black Mary, in every country. So tell me again who you are. Who are you? You're a liar of the worst ilk. And you stand under blood libel. Whether you want to accept it or not, you're under blood libel. And generally speaking, the penalty for blood libel is death. This is biblical, and this is why they hate the Bible. It's also why they hate Jesus. How can they be Jewish and if Jesus was a Jew, but they hate Jesus? Okay? How can they hate the followers of Jesus? And they do. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. The Jew is anti-God, anti-man, anti-anything good. But this is where he ends too. He ends right about here. His days are numbered. They have no answer for me. Oh, okay. The Jew, the Jew, the ultimate Jew. They have no answer. They simply don't have an answer. It's sad that you run with a lie this long, to where you have no choice now but to continue it until you die. So while we await your untimely demise of evil, this is not personal. It ain't because you're Jewish, so-called. It's because you're evil. It's because you're wicked. This is why you will die. This is why. And if someone don't take your children from you, they also will die. Now, I'm going to wrap this up right about here. But listen, to all those would-be soldiers of the IDF who have refused to fight, 2 thumbs up. I salute you. To those 300 officers who have resigned, much love. I salute you. Okay? I would tell you that you're doing the right thing. You will die clean. You will die clean. And God will honor you for what you're doing. Let them fight their own wars. You know who you are. Be done with it. This ain't 1965. These are the end times. This is a time where you clean your shit up. This is a time that you make yourself whole, make yourself clean. Oh, ain't no more time after this. So with that, clean yourselves up, folks. Clean yourselves up. Because otherwise, there will be much death, much despair. So on the American street, they started to organize against all factions of power. They're starting to organize against the system itself. Because we've noticed now that the system does not care about anything. Anything. It's largely ideological. Period. It does not care or show compassion or anything else because they are of a cult. Understand this. These are cult members. Cult members. Period. Every last one. Well, I can't make this statement today because the elections have already occurred. But before, all of them are cult members. The entire Democratic Party is one big cult that hates God. I would like to alert them. God hates you back. He don't care about you hating him. He hated you a long time before you hated him. Okay? God hates them back. Okay? And they are alarmed because they know that it is time. If it was not time, then I wouldn't exist. It is time. So once again, you should expect anything out of wicked people. Expect anything. Because they know that they're going to die no matter what they do. So what would you do if you understood that no matter what you do, he's going to kill me. Think about that, because that's what they have to think about every damn day. And what would be your responses? Well, I'm going to tell you what the response is. God already hates me, so do more of it, like a child. So you keep thinking as a child would, even though God says, as a child, you should think as a child. But as an adult, you have to put away that thinking of a child and think like an adult. Well, they don't do that, and they can't do that. Okay? They are stuck right where they are. Wickedness in this country is stuck. Think about this. It can't go any further. It's reached its saturation point. There are no more evil members. Recruitment is down for them. So for the rest of us, just get ready. Be ready. Expect anything, because the seeds of rebellion have already been planted. The seeds of revolution have already been planted. And it's going to get ugly. It's going to be bloody. And it may even be long. But looking at the rate things are going, and the Americans are starting to organize against everything that they would believe have been harming them. Okay? And there ain't no way out of it. Ain't no way out of it. This is the end game. This is what happens when you simply won't stop. This is what happens when you simply won't change. And death comes calling. Death comes calling. And they already know that there ain't enough nukes, bullets, and airplanes in the world to stop what's about to happen here. They understand that too. My suggestion is that they find God, find Jesus, because won't nothing else save. I promise you this. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I know I've been gone a while. My AI ain't gonna want to edit this because it doesn't like the name. I mean, that word Jew bothers it. I'm gonna have to work with it a minute and make it understand that there's two types of Jews: fake Jews and your ass, the real Jew. See, right now it thinks the Jew is white people. Okay, this I know because that's who developed the AI. And anything that you say about certain groups in this country of free speech, a country of free speech, is heavily monitored. Okay, so it is a good thing that the Democratic Party is out of power. It'll be 8 years before we have to deal with their asses again. And that is a good thing. With that, please enjoy the rest of your night. This has been Source. I am 7. I am 1.